Good afternoon. My name is Kaleem Shabazz, and I'm Chairman of Planning and Development for the City of Atlantic City City Council. And this is a series that we have called Planning and Development Update. And it is my distinct pleasure today to welcome Brian Jackson, who is the CFO of Stockton University in Atlantic City. And as you can see, he is going to make a presentation about Stockton University, which we are extremely happy, elated, glad, jubilant, excited about coming to Atlantic City in the fall, and looking forward to the opening on September 20th, and looking forward to, before that, the starting of classes. It's going to be a revitalization of Atlantic City in the Chelsea area and Atlantic City in general. It's going to be a institution that's going to bring other investment in Atlantic City, and we are very excited. So without further ado, Brian Jackson, who is going to lead his presentation.
Thank you so much, Councilman Shabazz. Really appreciate the opportunity to come back as part of this monthly forum to update the community on the activities that are happening at Stockton University, Atlantic City. The format for our presentation will be that I will give some opening remarks, some updates, and then I'm going to have a couple of my colleagues that will come forward to talk about some other aspects of the university campus opening that we believe will be of interest to you. One of my colleagues, who at the last minute could not be here because of a change in her flight because of the weather, Dr. Michelle McDonald, who serves as our Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs. She was to be here to talk a bit about our academic programming, so I'm going to sort of pitch it for her in her absence. And then my colleague, Dr. Haley Baum, who is the Assistant Dean of Students for the Atlantic City campus, will come forward to brief you on plans for our student affairs areas, as well as our residential life experience in Atlantic City. And then Lieutenant Cindy Parker from our campus police will come and share with you plans for our safety and security for the campus and around that community. And then I will follow up with a brief on the recently approved University District overlay plan. So, as many of you know, the campus is well underway. It's a $220 million public-private partnership plan between Stockton University, South Jersey Industries, the state of New Jersey, Atlantic County, Atlantic City DevCo, and it's just been a wonderful partnership. Jingoli Construction, just a really great partnership. In fact, this is, I believe it's the largest public-private partnership deal in the history of the state of New Jersey. It includes 4 facilities. One is our academic center, which is a 56,000 square foot building, which is right here. It's a 3-story building. It sits on the former location of the Atlantic City High School, overlooking the beautiful O'Donnell Memorial Park. The building includes 14 classrooms and computer labs. We have office suites for our faculty, administrative staff, IT staff. We have several meeting rooms in the building. And on the first floor, which is really the most public floor of the facility, we have a large dining area, which will be occupied by Chartwell's Dining Services, who operates our dining service operations on our main campus in Galloway. They will be facilitating a dining experience here in Atlantic City. They're bringing in 3 unique sort of concepts that we think not only our students will be excited about and enjoy, but that dining area will be open to the general public, so we invite you to come in and enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner. In addition to Chartwell's, they have partnered with Carluccio's, which is a really well-known Italian establishment in Northfield. They've been featured on Food Network many times, and they're famous for their incredible pizzas and their meatballs and pasta. So we're really excited that they are opening their 2nd location here in South Jersey within the academic center, and that will also be accessible to the public. So Carlo and the folks at Carluccio's are really excited to be bringing their food concept to the Atlantic City community. In addition, we have a 3,000 square foot event room space on the first floor. It has been named in honor of Fannie Lou Hamer, who many of you probably know, who was famous for her speech, one of many of her speeches that she gave at the 1964 Democratic National Convention that was held here in Atlantic City. So we're really thrilled to honor her by naming the event room the Fannie Lou Hamer Event Room. In terms of our academic offerings, we will have 3 graduate programs that will be housed completely in Atlantic City. 2 are master's level programs and 1 is a doctorate level program. In addition, for our baccalaureate students, there will be a wide variety of course offerings that will be offered here in Atlantic City. We have, I believe, close to 120 courses that are being offered this fall, and the enrollment to date has far exceeded what our original estimates were. So we are really thrilled about that. I think we are possibly over 1,800 seats filled in the classes that are being offered in Atlantic City. So it's really beyond what we originally expected. We're thrilled about that. In addition, our faculty have really embraced Atlantic City beyond our expectations as well. The majority of the courses in Atlantic City will be taught by full-time tenured faculty. So we're thrilled to have our faculty here. Many of them have asked and requested that their permanent offices be in Atlantic City as well. So we're going to have a strong faculty presence here in Atlantic City. And I know a smattering of them have either moved into Atlantic City or are looking at housing options here in Atlantic City, in addition to some of our staff who have moved into Atlantic City, particularly the Chelsea neighborhood. So we're really thrilled about our classes. We're really thrilled about the faculty and their embracement of Atlantic City and this campus. And we really appreciate the support and endorsements that we receive from the Atlantic City community as well. In terms of our residential experience, there's a lot of exciting things happening there. And I'm going to invite my colleague, Dr. Haley Baum, who's the Assistant Dean, to share with you some updates. Dr. Baum?
Hi everyone, thank you Brian. So as Brian said, in my role I serve as Assistant Dean of Students for our brand new Atlantic City campus. And I work in a profession called Student Affairs. So we often say that, but then everyone goes, well, what is that? And so in a very short sentence, what we really do in our profession is we advocate for the needs of students outside of the classroom. So that could mean students that just need a little bit of help and support. It could mean mentorship, and it could mean a variety of things. We work with a lot of students in crisis, but we also work with a lot of student leaders and just students who are looking to build a connection. And that's one of our primary goals in Student Affairs, is to make sure that our students really have everything that they need to be successful and build connection to the institution and our staff. So I'm very excited and privileged and lucky to be able to be doing this on our brand new campus in Atlantic City. So again, we work to help to advocate for the needs of students and build connections and relationships. And so my main role is really to serve as a connector to all of the other apartments and divisions within Student Affairs. And some of those examples are health and wellness, counseling services, our learning access program, the Office of Military and Veteran Affairs, student development, the Career Center, etc. So there are all of these other offices within Student Affairs, and then my role as working as a Dean of Students is to bring all of those resources together, specifically in Atlantic City. And so one of the strategies and ways that we're going to do that is that we're going to create a swing office schedule and rotation. So we're going to bring some of the magic that we've created already in Galloway over to Atlantic City, and we're going to have different offices that I just mentioned come over to Atlantic City to provide those resources, connection, and advocacy for our students. So for example, if a student needed to visit with a counselor, they don't have to travel all the way back to Galloway. They can if they choose to, but we're also going to have representatives from our counseling center come over to Atlantic City and post those hours. For an example, Career Center, all those offices that I just mentioned. And so we're going to have a student affairs and residential life office suite on the first floor of the residential complex. And so I'll be moving my office over there. In addition to myself, we'll have 2 full-time master's level complex directors that will serve as leaders for the residential students, the 533 students that will be residing in the building. My colleague, Marcus Johnson, who's seated here today, he will also be moving his office over to Atlantic City, and he will serve with me on my team to, again, advocate for all the needs of our students. And we also have a brand new EOF, that's the Educational Opportunity Fund Atlantic City program. And so our associate director of that program will also be moving their office full-time and will also be located in that Student Affairs Residential Life office suite on the first floor of our residential building. So, as Brian mentioned, we're really excited about the positive energy and impact and the momentum as we move forward to opening the campus in the fall. Our numbers are looking really well. We talked about the enrollment numbers, but I'm happy to share that we are completely full, maxed out on every bed in the residential complex. And I believed in it all along, as Brian did as well, but we're so happy to be able to share that with you. There's so much positive energy and momentum as we move forward. And so one of the things that now that we have all of our students ready to move in, we're looking to do is build this positive campus culture and campus life. And that's one of the charges that Marcus and I have, but it's an interesting concept to bring about when you're starting from scratch. So in Galloway, we have had almost 50 years to craft this campus life and culture and vibrancy. And so in Atlantic City, we have the opportunity to continue that, but also focus on the culture and the area around us and the community. And so one of the main messages that I want to bring about today is that we want to partner with you. We want to have these programs and events and connections and mentorship opportunities for the city at Stockton in Atlantic City. It's not Stockton and Atlantic City, it's Stockton in Atlantic City, right? And so we know from research that when our students are connected to the staff and the institution, they're more successful, they're happier, our retention numbers look better, and so we want to invite you to join us in that relationship and those connections. One of the ways that we seek to do that is through programming. So we have a really vibrant, robust educational but also fun programming plan that we're going to roll out in the fall. And as an example, I just wanted to share with you one of those events that we have, and this is all the testament to Marcus, his event. So as an idea, we're going to be holding a trick-or-treating event. So we're going to be inviting students from Atlantic City middle schools and the public education system high school to come over and trick-or-treat within our residence hall with our college students over in Atlantic City housing. And not only is this going to be fun, but this is going to provide, again, a relationship and an opportunity for connection and mentorship so that the students see that this is a place for them as well. And so we're really excited to offer that as one option of the way that we're going to be doing that. We have a lot of other options, opportunities, again, for you all, hopefully in the community, to become partners with us in doing this work. I want to talk to you just briefly a little bit about the housing. So again, we mentioned we're full, very excited about that. We have 6 different apartment styles in the residential complex. Not sure if you want to hear more about that, but let me know. I know I only have a short period of time, but I just wanted to mention that we have a couple new things in this housing program that we've never had before. So if you followed Stockton and Galloway, you'll see new things in Atlantic City. One is a 12-month housing contract. So that means that students can live year-round and never have to leave. We've done this for a variety of reasons, internships, needs of a variety of nature, but one of those is that we have students in the foster care system, and so for years we've tried to come up with a solution to this problem of having our students leave in the summer, and a 12-month housing contract is one of those ways. And so we're very excited about that opportunity for the first time ever, 12-month housing. We also have our first time family housing program, so our students can live in Atlantic City housing with their families, again serving a new demographic and a need that we've never been able to do before. Some of the amenities amenities, just very briefly, in our residential complex, unique, innovative spaces that we're so lucky to have that we've never had before. We have several student lounges, a computer lab, a fitness center, a 1,500 square foot fitness center, the first floor of that building. We have 2 beautiful and unique interior quads that are designed to bring in the city inside the building, to look through and see what's going on, to look through and see the boardwalk and see the ocean. We also have a fireplace that the artwork on that fireplace is designed by a local artist from Atlantic City by the name of the Mud Girls. We're really excited to bring their artwork into the building. We have a campus bookstore, several retail locations, outdoor seating, 2 classrooms in addition to the classrooms in the academic space, and I'm lucky enough to be one of the faculty members teaching in one of those classrooms in the fall. And we also have a police substation, and that is one of the great partnerships, as an example, that we have with our campus police department, but also a really good segue for me to invite Lieutenant Parker to talk to you about campus safety. And again, I just wanted to thank you for giving us this time, and I really hope to work with all of you in your respective interests and offices and departments on future collaboration and connection on behalf of our students. So.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Parker. I'm the Administrative Lieutenant at Stockton University Police Department in Galloway, soon to be Atlantic City. I just want to thank everyone for coming out. We're very excited as well as a police department to have the opportunity to engage our community here in Atlantic City as our institution grows. So with that being said, I'll get a little bit into where we're at, what our plans are. It's been instrumental with Chief White, Deputy Chief Barnhart, Deputy Chief Sarkos. We have worked collectively for quite some time on the planning of not only public safety, but the surrounding areas of our campus to ensure that everyone is covered and that we're engaging with the community that's living near us. So with that being said, we will have a fully certified, fully sworn police department in the residential building of the campus here in Atlantic City. For those of you that don't know, we are a fully sworn police department. Right now, we are roughly around 30 officers. Again, all fully sworn, arrest powers, the whole 9. We have members who serve on the Atlantic County SWAT team, so they have training in tactics. We do have a canine explosives team that basically works throughout the state when she and her canine partner are called out to assist in explosives detection, which, mind you, I will just throw a plug. She is actually a national champion as of this year. Sorry, we're very proud of that. So the plan is, with the police department that we have hired new officers to come onto our department to assist with obviously policing both Galloway and the Atlantic City campus. And the way that will look is we're basically splitting that department between the 2 campuses. We will work 12-hour shifts. It will be a rotating shift. So basically, example, if I am on a 12-hour shift in Galloway, I will work that for 2 months, and then I will rotate to Atlantic City. So this way, every officer in our department is acclimated with every facility that we have. So that is one pro that we see as far as that rotation, to make sure that everyone in the community is aware and familiar with every officer within our department. So we will always, no matter what, have a minimum of 2 officers on per shift, always. That's not to say if we have a large-scale event, things of that nature, we will have more officers on as needed. In addition to that, we've also partnered with Allied Universal, who will provide on-site security here in Atlantic City. There will be stationary posts for them for the residential hall and also the academic building. So basically, when you walk into the academic building, not only will you be greeted by Stockton University employees at the info desk, but you'll also have security there should you need anything lost and found, directions, questions, things of that nature. So we'll be able to facilitate that as well. One of the other things that we do provide, anytime a student needs an escort, we do provide escorts. You can go onto our website We publish our crime statistics every year, which is one thing that we will be doing here in Atlantic City as well, because we own and control the property, so we will be required to do that. All of our policies and procedures are online, so please feel free at any time to look at our website. One of the things that I'm probably most proud of is our relationship with not only the employees at Stockton, but our students and the community. Very proud of our officers. They are very engaging in the community and with our students. We actually have officers that go away for student orientation. So our incoming freshmen, they usually go away when they first come in for kind of a retreat, just to get to know each other and learn a little bit about Stockton, history, things of that nature. And for years, I'd say probably, Haley, if I had to guess, at least 10 to 15 years, we've always had members of our department that actually go away on these retreats with not only Stockton employees, but the students, the incoming freshmen, to really develop that relationship with them. For spring break, we have a what we call an alternate spring break. So instead of going out and enjoying spring break, some of these students dedicate their time and they go down to North Carolina or West Virginia, and they actually build homes for Habitat for Humanity. And we have members of our department that actually go and volunteer and work with not only the students, but with Habitat for Humanity. So I could go on and on and on about the great things that we do. But one of the things that we're really looking forward to doing in Atlantic City is not only working closely with our faculty, staff, and our students, but also getting to know the residents of Atlantic City. And obviously keeping an open door should there be any concerns, any problems, any issues. If there's, by some chance, I understand we have college students that may be navigating the city and may be noisy at times. If those things become a concern, we want to know about them. We work closely with not only residential life, but the Dean of Students Office, conduct, things of that nature. So although we are a police department, one of the things that I always say when we do move in, we'll do, usually, I know I work with Christy quite often, when the students move in, they usually have a large meeting. And one of the things I ask the students is, by a show of hands, how many of you are here for a degree? They all raise their hands. Okay, put your hands down. How many are here for criminal history? Nobody raises their hand, right? We're not here to arrest everybody. We're here to educate when we can, mentor when we can, and assist our students in becoming what we call America's future. The educators have their job, we have our job, we work hand in hand, and that's really our goal, to make sure that our students have a great experience, but they do it safely. And we make sure that our students are making sure our community is safe. So to that end, I encourage, at any time you have any questions, concerns, please reach out. We're always eager to work with the community. So I don't know if I have anything else, but.
Thank you, Lieutenant Parker. Thank you, Dr. Bell. So quickly, before I talk a little bit about the university district plan, I do want to mention that the university recently hired a new director for campus safety and security, Adrian Wiggins. He was in another meeting, so wasn't able to be here, so we're thrilled to have Lieutenant Parker with us. She's done a phenomenal job. But Mr. Wiggins was hired from Morgan State University, where he was in charge of campus security and safety there. So he has a lot of experience working at colleges and universities in urban settings. And he will also be residing in one of the family housing units on the campus. So we will have the director of campus security and safety living right on our campus in Atlantic City for this coming year. So we're really excited to have him on board. So I'm going to quickly just move on to the university district plan, and then we will open the floor up for any questions that you might have. So last week, the Atlantic City Council approved the plan for a university district overlay plan. And what this does, our intent with this is to help to spur economic development and private investment in and around the university area. The parameters of the district run from West End Avenue to the boardwalk, and then from Dover Avenue west to Sovereign Avenue, which would be east. And it focuses on the commercial districts within that area. This does not in any way impact residential districts within the University District. It's solely focused on the commercial districts in that area, which are 3. And so what we're hoping will happen over time through the establishment of this University District is that we were able to request or have additional usages, zoning usages applied to those commercial districts. It does not eliminate existing usages within those commercial districts. So any businesses that are currently there, they're not in any way targeted or impacted or affected by this approved University District Plan. What it does allow are additional usages which would help enhance not just the university but the community itself. For instance, in areas where retail, specialty retail was currently not allowed, now it will be. Areas where art galleries or clay studios currently were not allowed, now they will be allowed. Different types of educational usages for classrooms or offices, which previously were not allowed, now will be allowed in those spaces. So for owners of properties within those commercial districts, now they have more options to solicit businesses to move into the University District. And we hope over time, as I mentioned, that this will help to bring in more private investment, more businesses that will then hopefully help attract more residents into the community as well. So we see this as a way of really adding value to the community within the University District. So what this will not do, particularly for those of you who may be living within the University District area, excuse me. So, the University District does not do these things. It does not eliminate any existing permitted uses of property within the district, which I mentioned earlier. It does not designate the district area as a redevelopment area, nor does it designate the university as the developer. It does not grant the university condemnation rights in any way, nor does it give the university the authority to approve or disapprove any individual projects or usages within those districts. So again, we really see this as a way of hopefully spurring more economic development within the community. You know, as a designated anchor institution by the state, this is sort of part of our charge when we come into a community, is to utilize our expertise, our resources, what we have to bring to help uplift the community in which we exist. So, you know, we're looking forward to continuing and furthering our partnerships, not just within the University District, but throughout Atlantic City and our neighboring communities here on the shore. And we're very excited about it, and we appreciate all of the support that we've received for this proposal. We've met with dozens of constituent groups. We've given many presentations, particularly to those who are within the affected area, so that we could inform the community and be as transparent as we possibly could with this plan. And we've gotten a lot of positive feedback. So, you know, this isn't going to change things overnight, but over time, we really do anticipate the University District thriving and sort of being a beacon to help rejuvenate Atlantic City. So I'd like to invite my colleagues back up front here, and if there are any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. Thank you so much. Yes, Jeff.
Say, Brian, in the past graphics of the university overlay, I saw a piece of bigger fuel than that, but I don't see that in here. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, what you see here are the areas in yellow. These were the areas that had to be approved by the city because the CRDA is not responsible for these areas. So here, transpose it from yellow to this sort of purple or blue areas. Those are the areas that are under the auspices of the city of Atlantic City. The areas that you see in this sort of tan or orangey color are fall within the CRDA. As many of you know, the CRDA went through a complete review of their master plan last year, which was approved back in January of this year. Through that process, we had an opportunity to have input with the CRDA for any additional usages, which would be very similar to the usages that we requested the city to approve. Those did get approved through the CRDA for their tourism district areas, which also includes a portion of Bader Field. That's one of their newly established districts. So we requested to carve out just a portion of the Bader Field area as part of the university district, and it includes where the stadium is over to the thoroughfare.
And how many acres is that, please?
I believe it's about 40 acres. Yes, sir.
Yes, it sounds exciting, you know, it's really, you know, going to be a great addition. Question I have is traffic circulation. Do we have a traffic circulation plan? Because, you know, that area, Albany Avenue where it meets Ventnor, Atlantic Avenue, we've got some bottlenecks there. And my question is, has any real thought going into a traffic plan, a circulation plan to get people in and out of Atlantic City? Because of course, you know, with students, you know, with a new campus, and you talk about new businesses, what is the plan for traffic circulation?
Sure, I can address some of that, and then if Lieutenant has anything to add. In advance of the construction project beginning, through ACDEFCO, a traffic study was conducted. And what we found is one of the big changes that's being made at the intersection of Albany and Atlantic Avenue, when you make that right onto Atlantic Avenue, if you're coming was that south on Albany to turn west onto Atlantic Avenue, currently you can basically, you don't even have to stop. You can just turn right onto that intersection. That intersection has been made as a hard stop. There are lights, newly installed lights at that intersection on all four sides of that intersection as well, and it will be restriped on Atlantic Avenue at Albany, as well as up by Trenton, or is it just before Trenton Avenue, Lincoln Place? By Lincoln Place, there's a light there that's going to be restriped as well. We recognize that there's going to be some pinch points during the day. With South Jersey Gas coming on board, their offices are supposed to open sometime in November, I believe. They're bringing in roughly 200 employees. So there will be some pinch points in the morning, probably between that 7:30 and 9 o'clock period, as employees are pulling in to go to work. Their employees have dedicated parking in the parking garage. Our students living in our residential complex, of which there's 533, they have designated parking in the parking garage as well, so they won't be occupying any street parking. And we're encouraging our students to take our shuttle services that we're going to be offering between the Galloway and Atlantic City campuses. Those will begin running at 7:30 in the morning to 12:10 p.m. from Monday through Saturday, with some alternate with an alternate schedule on Sundays. And we anticipate that shuttle will run about every 45 minutes, but there could be multiple shuttles running during those periods depending on the need. So we anticipate that will help alleviate some of the traffic flow coming into the city. In addition, all of our students don't arrive at one time. Classes are scheduled from 8:30 up until 6 o'clock, 6 to 9 p.m. So we don't necessarily anticipate a heavy load of our students coming in at one time. They're going to be coming in throughout the day. That other pinch point will be near the end of the day, that probably 4 to 6 o'clock period, where the employees from South Jersey Industries will be departing their office tower to head either out of the city or into other parts of the city. So yeah, there are going to be those two pinch points.
Also, that's a down beach corridor. You know, when you come off Pacific Avenue, you got jitneys, you've got commuters, you've got people that work with Hard Rock and Ocean Resort here now, it's going to increase the traffic, and, it's just a question.
Yeah.
There has to be, has any thought been given to possibly moving a monument? That monument is something that I know is an icon. I went to Atlantic City High School, by the way. But I think that, maybe it's not a conversation for now, but going forward, we need to talk about that. And not only that, Atlantic City's traffic system is abysmal from where I sit, and they really need a traffic engineer. I mean, that's just something directed at my councilman, because I know you have nothing to do with that. But Atlantic City right now, when we have an event, the police are, they do all they can, but we really need, with this new campus coming on board and with these new casinos, we need to sit down and have a serious conversation about traffic circulation in Atlantic City. And I work for the South Jersey Transportation Authority, by the way.
Yes.
And I'm a former freeholder. So, and I've been around here for a while. So, it's just a suggestion, because you don't want to wait until you open this campus and then realize, wait a minute, this traffic circulation is not going to work. Okay?
So if I can add on to Brian's statements. So one of the other things that we've done, not only as an institution, but also with the police department, we've created, as we've been getting ready to prepare for the campus in Atlantic City, we've actually created subgroups that we've had multiple meetings with. We've had a fire subgroup, we've had an emergency management subgroup, we've had a traffic subgroup. So we've actually done a walkthrough with AC engineers, supervisor from the traffic unit, and we discussed a lot of the logistical concerns that we may have, in addition to some of the plans that are already in place with the construction. So where we're at is, obviously some of the concerns we have, large-scale events. You have the Miss America Parade, things of that nature, that basically start right around that area. So we've already discussed with ACPD as far as coordinating traffic, things of that nature. I understand what you're saying, but we really aren't going to know the issues that we will be contending with as far as Stockton and Atlantic City until we start having the opportunity to evaluate it, if that makes sense. So please don't think that we're not aware of that, or ACPD is not aware of that, or the city's not aware of that. It's just we have to evaluate all of that. So if there are changes that need to be made, we can make them.
Ask and answer. Like I said, the question has to be asked.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I know you're aware of it, and there's been kind of discussions, but a plan, is something's got to be, laid out before, we wind up with pure gridlock.
Sure.
Especially you talking about concerts, you're talking about, it's just Atlantic City's 48 blocks. 48 blocks and 4 or 5 blocks from the boardwalk to the boulevard. And it's a lot of activity. I want us to be successful. In order to be successful, we got to have some foresight. Thank you. Ask and
Your
answer.
point is well taken, and I think long-term plan with all of the appropriate constituents, have to be at the table to talk about those things. But you're absolutely right. Yes, sir.
Do you own that lot where the building superintendent is and all those guys are set up now?
The lot on Hartford and Pacific Avenue, where the construction, that lot is owned by Atlantic City DevCo, but we will be utilizing that lot once the campus opens for additional parking.
Okay, and also, are you taking over maintenance of O'Donnell Park?
No, there is currently no agreement between the university or the city or the Special Improvement District for Stockton to take over or manage O'Donnell Memorial Park.
Okay, now, we do understand there's a lot of parking issues already in the area. So I'm hoping that I can park in front of my building right there as a resident and not have your students taking all the very, very limited parking on Hartford Avenue, and I would assume past So I'm hoping there's enough parking in the garage or in that lot that they're currently utilizing for your students and faculty and everything else, because we don't need to fight for parking every night. You know? We have to.
Absolutely. Actually, right before this meeting, I was in a meeting with respect to just parking with our students and labeling parking and things of that nature. We know exactly how many students are going to live in the building. We know how many of those students are bringing a car, 82% of them, of the 533. We have more than enough parking spots in the parking garage where all of those students will park. The great thing about our college students is that they're used to the rules and regulations that we have for Galloway parking, and they're going to be very similar in Atlantic City. They're just going to be told where they're allowed to park. The other thing that I think is important to note is that they can park for free in our parking garage, and they would have to pay in those other areas. So I think that's a huge deterrent for college students, is that in the designated areas for them to park as a residential student or even as a commuting student that's just going to take class, it's free to them to park in the Stockton parking lots, which they'll have access to. So we really feel, we've looked at all the numbers. We know exactly how many students, faculty, and staff are going to be coming on to that part of the campus at what times, and what times there's more people and what times there's less people. And there are enough parking spots. They're more than enough for our students, faculty, and staff within our area, and we really feel confident that they're not going to be spilling out into the neighboring areas that you're mentioning, especially because then they would have to pay for that. So I know that my team is going to do a lot of education around that. We've already sent them documents that label everything, but we're also going to continue to remind them. We talked about this in our meeting with Chief White the other day, also about creating that culture around parking, and that you are now in a public city street, and so they need to understand that. And so I really feel confident that our staff is going to do everything that we can to make sure that they're parking where their designated area is, and that they understand that those other spots are for the community, and not only that, but then they have to pay for that. So that's another added deterrent, I feel.
While
Yes.
we're on parking, I've watched several casinos have to redesign their garages. Has anyone thought about allowing the traffic from that garage onto Atlantic Avenue instead of Lincoln Place? That's a 40-foot street that you've already got congestion on without the garage open. So it's something, as you react to the future, you may want to keep in mind. And second thing, Officer Parker, where does your jurisdiction begin and end?
As far as in Atlantic City?
In Atlantic City.
So basically, as far as a police officer in New Jersey, we do have jurisdiction anywhere. However, working in coordination with Chief White, our primary jurisdiction is going to be our campus property. Now, that's not to say, if there's a mutual aid request, next across the street.
If there's a fight at the bar up the street, you're allowed to go there.
If we're requested to go there and Chief White, if an officer is requesting assistance, then yes, we would assist. But primarily, our responsibility is going to be the jurisdiction, the property of the campus.
Okay.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that if our campus police were walking around the front of the academic building and they see something happening in the park, that they would not address it immediately.
Yeah, I do understand that.
And just to add on to that, I mean, not trying to speak for Chief White, but we've had multiple conversations. We've already, discussed and have a formalized letter of jurisdictional authority. So, we do have that agreement already, that we will have authority in Atlantic City, but primarily on our campus.
And in regard to the first level of that, the parking garage on the Atlantic Avenue side, Atlantic Care has signed a lease to fill approximately 5,500 square feet of that space for multiple usages, including an urgent care center. So that will be a new service that currently does not exist in that part of town, and that's obviously going to be accessible to the public, as well as the campus bookstore, which will be on the corner of Roosevelt and Atlantic Avenue. It will be a convenience store / campus bookstore. On the boardwalk side, we have 2 retail spaces. One of those spaces will be used as a welcome center, a Stockton University welcome center. So anyone walking on the boardwalk who's interested in learning more about Stockton, they'll be able to come in, talk with staff, and find out what Stockton's all about. And there will also be a pop-up retail space in the second space that'll be operated by Follett bookstores, so you'll be able to come in and buy Stockton merchandise and things of that nature.
This question here.
Yes,
So
sir.
I had two questions. I'm going to reverse them in line with what was said. First, thanks for doing this. I think it's very helpful. My second question, which I want to defer, is what the red relates to.
The red space on here is space that is not a part of the university district. This area is essentially where the Atlantic Club properties are. That currently is not a part of the university district.
So the first question, now the second, is I've seen graphics that the overlay is going to have some banners, some ways to demarcate it.
Yes.
Is there anything else that's going into that? Upgraded lighting, benches, any other upgrade to the area that demarcates as a university overlay? In other places, you see high halogen lights really brighten it up.
Right.
Other than the banners, is there any plan in the future to do anything with the district lines?
Well, I have to say that just within the last couple of weeks, the Special Improvement District was changing in and putting in and making repairs to the lighting in the park. And that just happened just a couple of weeks ago.
Real quick, Brian, let me.
Yes.
Just for the record, the city has received a grant, $5 million from the BPU, and we are switching out 6,500 lights all across the city. So, and they are the high LED lights. So that's going to happen all over the city, and of course that will encompass that district.
There are many different types of university district plans. Many of them have essentially sort of a tax that businesses or residents pay who are within the boundaries of those university districts that pay for additional security or other types of upgrades. This plan does not provide for that. The banners, and we're working with our graphics department to design really colorful banners that will hang throughout the district. That will be funded through the university. So that won't be any kind of charge against any of the residents or businesses that are within the parameters of the district. So this will not be putting on any additional tax, if you will, to the residents or businesses within the district. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Brian, the PR Council will be visiting Stockton on September 25. We're going to have at least 20, maybe 30 cars. Will we be able to go into the parking garage?
So,
I wasn't at that meeting this morning.
That meeting that we just had, we actually brought up that exact event.
Right.
And those are the things that we're still working through, but that point, that specific event was actually brought up as an example. And so we do have a few options on the table, and we're working with the outside company actually to help us understand what is the best way to label the parking, and when we have guests, what would be the best or most accessible place for them to park. And so you're definitely on our radar, and very soon we'll be putting it out, but we don't want to give any information specifically yet because we're still making those decisions. But I certainly was in the room for that, and you'd be happy to know we did speak about that event. We're looking forward to having you, and very soon we'll be publishing a large a list of all the designated parking areas and then who is able to park where. You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
The student makeup from the numbers that you said, the 1,800 seats, is my take correct that one third of your student population will be living on campus, 2/3 maybe commuters? And if so, what would be your guess of the commuter students who will be using your shuttle service?
Historically, at the university, a third of our students live within our residential properties on our campus. Another third live at home and commute, and that final third are renting properties somewhere out in the community or doing a house share and apartments, things of that nature.
So I can tell you that it's a variety of ways. There's a lot of data out there and that we have access to, luckily. So there's a student that has all of their classes in Atlantic City. So all 5 of their classes are in Atlantic City. There's a good amount, about almost half of the students have 2 to 3 classes in Atlantic City. There's students that have 0 because they just want to live in the new complex. There's a good amount of students that have 1. And so a lot of our students we'll be going back and forth from Atlantic City to Galloway, but we also have instructional sites in Hamilton and Woodbine and Manahawkin. And so there are a variety of different types of schedules that our students choose to select for themselves. And that's the often misunderstood component is that you have to have a certain major to live in a certain area, or you have to even live on campus at all to go to a certain instructional site. And the answer is all of those sites are for everyone. And we're going to have a variety of different types of courses specifically in Atlantic City. Brian mentioned some of the programs, but we have a lot of introductory and general courses as well. And so those types of courses are taken by all types of students. And so there's not an easy answer because there's so many different types of students and schedules. That is really the easiest way to say.
And Dr. Baum mentioned earlier, one of the benefits of offering a 12-month lease option for our students. One of the other benefits that we believe will be critical, not just for our students, but also for the industry here in Atlantic City, is that oftentimes our students would be open to working at the casinos or at the tourism-based businesses here along the shore, but it's expensive for them to get housing during the summertime. So this option makes it much more affordable for our students who want to intern during the summer or work during the summer, which is going to be a benefit particularly to the casino industry. Yes, sir.
Does Stockton have any plans for future expansion in Atlantic City?
The university is studying, what the future will look like for Atlantic City. We are one of 3 public colleges and universities in New Jersey that has been designated as a growth institution. So, we do see Atlantic City as an opportunity to grow. Yeah.
Does anybody hasn't asked the question? That has a question?
Yes, sir.
Obviously, I'm a senior, and I'm a neighbor of yours at the Ocean Club. That's my primary residence. Number one, personally very excited that you're opening the campus there. The other thing is what do you have there, me being a senior, if I wanted to volunteer on campus, how would I get engaged with that?
Oh, that's a good question. I think there's a number of ways to do that. It could be through our Division of Student Affairs. If you're an alum, it's through our Office for Alumni Affairs. We'll be happy to give you our card, and we'll follow up with you. Yeah, we're excited to have Ocean Club. I was just there a week or so ago at your annual meeting or one of your meetings. Great turnout. We have staff that live in the Ocean Club building as well. And last fall we we invited faculty and staff who wanted to learn more about residential options in the neighborhood. We took them through your building. And we expect to do more of that. We want to promote living in Atlantic City, living where you work, and we'll be doing more of those types of things, bringing faculty and staff who are interested in learning about housing opportunities here in Atlantic City to take them through tours of some of the communities. Yes, sir.
I just have to follow up on that, and this is just a recommendation as your student body and people come in, is that you treat your campus as a national park. You bring trash in, you take trash out. Now, I've been at some different meetings and stuff at your campus. It seems like you put a lot of focus on that, but I'm hoping that might be a mantra through osmosis, that kind of thought would come right down the boardwalk, because the city spends a lot of money and they do a great job. I see them every morning grooming our beach and stuff like that, but a lot of us have to take ownership of that too.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because our main campus, which is 1,600 acres, it is part of a reserve. And when the campus center was designed, the president at the time, Dr. Stockton, said he wanted it to be built to feel like you were in a national park. So,
Yep, absolutely.
Does anybody hasn't asked a question, has a question? Has not asked a question, has a question?
well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming out and learning more about what we have happening. Save the date, September 20th at 11 a.m. will be the official ribbon cutting for the campus. It'll be on the boardwalk, and we invite all of you to come out for the official opening.
Is there a rain date, Brian?
September 20th.
September 20th.
We'll be indoors if it rains. We'll be squeezing in together, but it's going to be a great day. September 20th, 11 a.m. At Albany Avenue in the boardwalk. Thank you so much.
Stay around, some questions?
few things.
Okay, if anybody has any questions, Brian's going to stay around for a minute. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I want to recognize our two casino control commissioners and our chairman. Thank you so much for coming, and State Monitor Rick Riccadella. And we thank all of you for coming out. Thank you.